Hello world, this is a quick ranty video, at least I hope it's going to be a quick video, about what I actually think is wrong with Adobe's Lightroom, despite it being updated a few days ago to fix bug fixes and whatnot else.
Well, hello world.
33, 45, spin those records round. 33, 45.
All the best in hi-fi reviews.
Spin those records round.
Stick to me for the best advice.
Stick to me for the best advice.
Hello world. Feeling like some photography.
Photography 101.
Hello world.
33, 45.
You're with me, Mark P. Muzz.
Or Marky P, or Bad Boy Marky, or just plain Mark. I think there's a huge amount that actually needs fixed here that will actually streamline this interface and make it into something that we are used to. There are a whole lot of people that are denied the hobby of photography because the things don't work in the way that you expect them to. And my main gripes concern the view that you can see now, which is the library view. Now I'm just going to quickly just sort of go back just a smidge. Out and out, my favourite Mac software to use to edit and store photos in a library come catalogued collection was Aperture. I still have, for old time's sake, the little icon on my desktop. But because Apple no longer support it, there are no bug fixes or anything available now to update Aperture and keep it current and workable. And one day they'll stop it working on their Macs altogether, I'm sure. So when they got rid of Aperture, they introduced this thing called Photos, which I no longer have as an icon on my desktop because it was so rubbish compared with what Aperture did. And I found some workaround online which I used and then signed up for Adobe's Creative Cloud, which gives you Photoshop and Lightroom as a bundle, and you pay a few quid a month. It's really not very much, it's under £10, so I'm quite happy about that. But both of these programs are completely unwieldy, and the library view in Lightroom, I think, is the worst culprit. When you import photos, you get something similar to this sort of panel on the right down here, this grey panel where my mouse is moving. So you can import your photographs, you can put some tags in as you import them, which are supposed to make them easier to find. You can put in tags of people. I've got hundreds of people, for example, but sorry Adobe, where's the search bar? You should just have up here where you've got all of these lovely things here, there should just be a little thing here, little magnifying glass that says search, maybe with a keyboard shortcut attached to it, and then you can type in any of those tags that you've actually put on your photograph and up they all pop. The closest you can do for that is these things called collections here, where you have to kind of be a little bit canny and put in, for example, if I go to my Cambridge photos, Cambridge, how come they're not even Cambridge photos? Any searchable text contains Cambridge. I'm going to change that right now. I'm going to make that metadata or keywords contains Cambridge. Save. There we go, that's better. But you see, that's the sort of thing that you have to do. It's a faff. Whatever happened to having a little search bar up here? You could type in Disneyland and all your photos of Disneyland would turn up. Especially nowadays with many cameras, not all of them. So it's a pain in the rear end for those people that don't have this, but they will actually geotag your photos for you, so you know where you are. You have to turn it on. It's a huge waste of camera battery because it's constantly sort of searching around for your coordinates. And when you go for location thing down here, you get this very helpful GPS code here, 57 degrees 50 west and whatever. You don't want all that rubbish. Yes, you can tap that, but it takes you to a map. It doesn't take you to all the photographs that you might have taken in a specific location. This, for example, was Cambridge that I took in January. But what if I got photographs that I'd taken in May of 2013 or something like that as well? It's a pain in the neck. So these collection things here are about the closest that you can get to doing that. You then have these great long lists here of things which you've got to scroll through to try and get to things. What happened to the search bar? The very simple search bar that if you were looking for a group of photographs, you just type in the keywords up here and it just gives you a filtered out display of all those photographs, and then when you delete that text from there, they've all gone. So you haven't necessarily got to clutter up your collections with things that you might only want once. Okay? If you want to search for a person, provided again that you've entered in the data, you can use these things to get to your faces. That's my mum. How did that happen? Because she's in, you see, now she's in this thing up here. I've blinking well gone and lost it. Right, let's just, you see, you just can't. That's from Lightroom Mobile. Let's move up there, Lightroom. And now that will now show me all of the people that happen to be named and in my photos. Okay, but that's a faff. Okay, if I wanted pictures of, I don't know, Adam Frost, for example, he's not scared of a bit of self-publicity. I can talk about him. Up here, I just want to be able to type Adam and up pops anyone called Adam. It's not difficult to do. Whilst we're on the things that are not difficult to do and that are the same regardless of, is the share functions. Now, sharing is called publish services here. Okay? Every time that I do this, I always manage to muck it up somehow or other. Usually, if I share a selection of photographs to Flickr or to Facebook, they've all got the wrong file name because somewhere, in some bunch of text somewhere, in some metadata or something, which I forget to look at because they're all scattered all over the place. Look, we've got a metadata menu up here, we've got metadata over there, whatever, and it doesn't seem to matter. Whatever you put in those things, they don't get transferred to Facebook or to Flickr because there's yet another dialog box up here that you've got to do to go to Publishing Manager to then fill in this blooming incomprehensible form about the pictures that you want to put up. Not only that, but Flickr, Twitter, I actually had to pay for the little plugins which totaled about £30 in all to get this thing to do that. Whatever happened to the share box? up here, the little share icon that we all know as a little box with an arrow pointing up that says share. And then when you share it, you get a list of common services that aren't just restricted to Adobe stock. I think Facebook I had to pay for. I think Facebook, Flickr, Twitter, i.e. the common things that people want to share to, you have to pay for. Not only that, but you get this incomprehensible dialog box. Now if we go to Aperture, what Aperture would do, here's maybe the photographs I want to share. I select them. I hit share up here. I get Facebook. I can type in that love in sort of Facebook's very own familiar dialog box. I can type in the information about my pictures. Up they go, and there they are, done. With this one, you have to then go to Publish to find all the photographs that you want to share, and then hit Publish. So it's not a nice, easy transition. Those people that use their mobile phones quite often for taking a photograph, they go into the photos library on their phone, you just find the picture you want or pictures and hit share, and up they go. You have the little option to type in a little bit of information about those pictures so that people who are watching it can see it, and up they go, and you don't even have to think about it. Aperture had that box called share. It also had this publishing manager kind of thing here in a much more streamlined form, whereby what it did was just kept tags of what you'd put where. If you had made a mistake, such as forgotten to change the file name, you could simply do batch rename the things, and then they would be changed on your computer and simultaneously changed on Flickr or Facebook or wherever it happened to be that you were sending your pictures to. This is just crazy. It's just crazy complicated. It doesn't need to be this complicated. While we're talking about complicated, I've mentioned the collections up there. What's all this rubbish? Okay, all this stuff here. Okay, hold on, that's saying Lightroom September. That's my hard disk. These are my Lightroom things here. These are all my Lightroom pictures. 25,140 of them. 25,140 photographs to try and find the one photograph you want without a search bar. Ridiculous. You could, if you could remember the exact year that it was taken and the month within the year it was taken, you could then have the delight of trying to navigate your way around this. What the hell? What the hell? Now, Lightroom will not let you go into the hard drive where your photos are, where you've got that lovely view that we all know and love, pictures of files and folders that you can go through, delete some, move others and whatever. Because if you try and do that, when you next open Lightroom or whatever, then it just won't reflect all the changes that you've made. There doesn't appear to be an easy way to sync the two together. Nothing that says you made changes to the Lightroom Catalog on your hard drive. How's about we sync the two together? Nothing like that. And instead you've got this thing here which belongs in the Arc. This is stuff of Windows 3.1. That would have been familiar to those people 20 years ago using Windows 3.1. If you're going to do that, if you're going to have it so that you have to make the changes, how's about putting it into a really simple window that opens up, that looks like the thing that you've got on your hard drive, and you can do it from within Lightroom. This is just unmanageable, it's unwieldy. You never know what's going where, and if you're not careful, you can just get yourself into a mess. You can drag and drop and do all those things. Yes, that's fine, but this tiny little thing to work in here, which soon becomes unwieldy and unmanageable, it's just it just doesn't need to be. So really, those are my 3 gripes about Adobe's Lightroom. Why it desperately needs to be rethought out so that all of your photographs are easily searchable from a search bar. They're easily shareable with a proper share menu so that you don't have to pay for plugins that also get out of date as well, and they might get out of date at a different time from when Lightroom gets out of date. So then you have to go and update those plugins before they start working again. It's a pain in the neck. Now, let me have a look. Let's go to this picture because I love this picture. There it is. Open. It's actually got the correct file name. How about that? Okay, if I go to somewhere down here, I don't want to export it. Edit in. Photoshop CC 2017. Right, I'm now getting, this is because it updated, it hasn't done it properly. Please update the Camera Raw setup plugin. If I go up here, the Camera Raw setup plugin is fully up to date. But we're going to open it anyway. This just started happening in the last couple of days. What should actually happen is that it should open up in Photoshop. What should actually happen is that it should open up in Photoshop. Look how slow it is. Okay, there's a nice little panoramic I did the other day. That's Greenwich for all of those people that are outside the UK. Here's my picture. Snore, snore. Right, file. Close and go to Bridge. Adobe Bridge is yet another Adobe product which contains a library of photos that's a bit like Lightroom, except that it doesn't have all the developed things. I don't really understand why anyone would use it. Can you close and go to Lightroom? No. When you save, if you make changes to that, see if I can just make a very quick change to it. Maybe I can convert it to black and white very simply. Okay, see, I can never ever remember how to work blooming Photoshop. It doesn't matter how many tutorials I watch, I always forget. Let's go to black and white, and there's the lovely, let's do an auto black and white conversion. Okay, all right. File. Save as, because I don't want to ruin my thing. Okay, where 01. Thank you. Where 01. 01 what? That's supposed to reflect the place in Lightroom where it's stored, but unfortunately, okay, this is cute dog BW, black and white, just so that we've got it. It's now a PSD format, not your RAW format that you've tried. It's now wanting to save it as a PSD format. If I hit save, if I try and go back now to the same place in Lightroom, go to the grid, we actually have it. That's unbelievable. That actually worked, but where's my original? Where's my original? Oh, there's my original, down there. Okay, but Yeah, it's clunky, it's slow, it's clunky, it's unrefined, it does everything completely different from even how any Windows user would now be expecting things to work. Please, Adobe, do something about it. Make it easy. Make it easy. Bye. How do I stop this damn thing?